Hello and welcome to the Buckeyes Postgame Show brewed by Royal Docks Brewing Company. Kenny Rhoda with you here after another Ohio State win, their second of the season. The Buckeyes, it was impressive at times, but at other times it left you scratching your head thinking, man, they should be up by 3 or 4 touchdowns and they're letting Penn State hang around. But hey, in the end, all that matters is you get a win in this crazy pandemic season, and the Buckeyes did that. They go on the road. They get a win at Penn State by the final score of 38-25, and Justin Fields, he's the front. I don't care how many games that Trevor Lawrence has played, and I hope he's getting better. He's dealing with COVID. He didn't play tonight. They escaped a win over Boston College. Supposedly he's not going to play next week against Notre Dame, Trevor Lawrence. We wish him the best. We want him to get healthy, get better, get back out on the field. However, I don't care what he's done to this point. Justin Fields, in 2 games for the Buckeyes, leading them to victories over Nebraska 52-17 and over Penn State 38-25. So the Buckeyes have scored 90 points in 2 games. Justin Fields in 2 games, 48 of 55. He's thrown 7 incompletions to this point. 48 of 55, 595 yards. This is unofficial, my math, so I may be off a little bit, but 595 yards. 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles. Came close tonight, got clobbered late in the game there, scared the bejesus out of me. But 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles. He's carried it now 21 times for 50 yards and a touchdown. So he's accounted for 7 touchdowns, no turnovers. And to me, your front runner for the Heisman Trophy right there. No question about it. Justin Fields, the leader of this team, and kudos to Ryan Day for using him the way they're using him, and Justin Fields showing the leadership in the offseason to go out there and to put together a petition to get the Big Ten's attention so they can play football again. And they come back and they are playing football, and for him to play football at the level he's playing it right now, unbelievable. So kudos, tip of the cap, the WHBC cap, to Justin Fields for his performance tonight. You can see on the bottom of the screen there some of the other stats I put up there for guys tonight. Master Teague, I don't know, he had over 100 yards, but it didn't feel like he had 100 yards to me. I'm not impressed with the Buckeyes running game. Sermon and Teague, they're not doing. I know they ran for over 200 yards tonight, but that was a product of the offensive line. And again, a tip of the cap. And I raised my mug, my Royal Docks mug, to the offensive line tonight for the job they did, for the most part protecting Fields and opening up holes as they ran for 200, threw for 300, over 500 yards of offense. But the running game is still a question mark for me moving forward. Where was Still Chambers tonight? He showed a burst last game. He seems to be the one that has that put your foot in the ground, cut back, and then boom, he's gone. Boom, there it is, John Madden. And we didn't see him at all tonight. Trey Sermon, not impressed at all. Master Teague, power back, but still, that's an area that's a concern for me. I know I'm bitching and moaning. He ran for 110 yards and a touchdown tonight, averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Yeah, 31 of those. You take the 31 away, he was 22 for, 81 yards or something like that. So that's an area of concern. But the area that is not of concern to me, but to opposing defenses, the wide receivers on this football team. Chris Olave, how about the first touchdown grab today? We weren't sure if he was going to play. Got hit to the head last week, left that game. Practiced, came back tonight, 7 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns for Chris Olave. Hell of a night for Chris Olave, and he came up with the onside kick play on the onside kick attempt by Penn State, I should say, late in the game there. Garrett Wilson, 11 carries. Check that. 11 receptions, 111 yards, no touchdowns. 1 carry, 62 yards, almost a touchdown on the game's very first play from scrimmage. They run that jet sweep or end around, whatever you want to call it, 62 yards. Kudos to Garrett Wilson. Like I said, those two, they're going to be drafted high and playing on Sundays. Be happy, though, that you've got them playing for the Buckeyes this year. And how about, and tip of the cap to both of those receivers. Jeremy Ruckert, one of 3 tight ends who caught passes tonight. He caught 4 of them for 25 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nice job, Jeremy Ruckert. And then you had Luke Farrell with a grab and Jake Hausman with a grab as well. So how about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers caught passes from Justin Fields tonight. Not bad. Spreading the ball around. Keeps the defense honest. They don't know who to cover. You spread it out wide. You go up top to the wide receivers. Then you got Farrell or Ruckert over the middle. If they collapse on the middle, then you go down the sidelines to the speed burners. So all in all, a good game on the road. First road game of the year. Buckeyes go to Penn State. No whiteout tonight. It was Halloween night and everything, and normally that place would be absolutely bonkers, and that was a big advantage for Ohio State, not having to face that, deal with that. And I think it's worth at least 3 points every time you have to go to Penn State to play, maybe 7, depending on how good Penn State is or isn't. So still a good road win for the Buckeyes. They've got a lot to work on. They do. The linebackers played well early, not late. Secondary, young. I know Hooker had an interception late, but they're still young. They need some more game reps and experience to get better. I thought the D-line was outstanding tonight. 5 sacks. Cooper, how about the one time Cooper pushed his man back into the quarterback and somebody else got the sack? I forget who got the sack. Tommy Togiai, number 72. Haskell Garrett, number 92. Cooper, the block O-H-I-O. He did a hell of a job tonight. They held Penn State and that running quarterback to 44 yards. That's it. Double fours. So defensively, the line of scrimmage was won by Ohio State's defensive line. Offensively, the line of scrimmage was won by Ohio State's offensive line. And you do that night in and night out, you're going to win football games. Sometimes there'll be a blowout. Other times they'll be close. Tonight, they won by, what's my math say, 13 points, 38-25. So we're going to start answering your questions. Hit me up on Facebook as well as on Twitter, and we'll check those and get as many questions and comments and everything in. But I also want to bring in my good buddy Josh Paloha checking in with us. He's up late tonight. And Joshy joins us to talk some Ohio State. What did you think tonight, Josh? What did you come away with in this win for the Buckeyes tonight?
That was the most lopsided, dominant, 13-point win I think I've ever witnessed.
Didn't you feel like they should have been up by like 4 touchdowns in that? I mean, they missed 2 field goals. They were like 12-yard field goals, and they missed both. Ralph Macchio missed one late in the game, the Karate Kid, the backup. And then Blake Hobbill missed one. Maybe he's hurt. I don't know. But I just so if you get the 2 field goals, it's 44-25. Feels a little different. But I was concerned that they were letting them hang around a little bit there. You know what I mean? That BS field goal at the end of the first half and then a touchdown to start the second half. But they get the win, Josh. And they're still young in some areas. So I guess that's what we have to look at, right?
For sure. I mean, you can't really ask for much more, I guess. There's no fans in Happy Valley, so that helps, I guess. But, yeah, the team dominated overall. I just can't believe they barely covered the 11.5-point spread.
Is that what it was? See, I had it 12.5, so 12. They still cover the 12.5. JT and I were talking about it on News Talk 1480 WHBC on the Kenny and JT show, and it was 12.5. But either way, 11.5, 12.5. Do you think Ryan Day knew? Well, no, he did go for the field goal there late. So I was going to say maybe last week they covered on that BS touchdown by Miller, the backup quarterback. But who impressed you the most? If you were handing out game balls tonight, Josh Paloha, who would you give game balls to tonight besides the obvious Justin Fields?
Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson are on another level. It's crazy. I mean, even if you didn't have Justin, even if you had like Joe Basserman throwing them the ball, I think they'd still dominate, and that says a lot.
You just brought up Joe Bowser.
Joe Basserman, because that was like the worst Ohio State quarterback I could think in recent memory.
Yeah, recently he's right up there. How about defensively? I give one to Tommy Togiai, 72, man. Dude is a beast on the inside. And Garrett Haskell, he got shot in the mouth. The bullet
I was just going to bring that up.
Out the other. 5 teeth missing. He's liquid diet, and he's dominated the first 2 games as well. Kudos to him. Tip of the WHBC cap to Haskell Garrett.
2 months and 1 day ago, he got shot in the face, and now he's out dominating on the college football field.
It's impressive, man. It really is. And I got to give a little love. I'm not high on the linebackers, Josh. They look like small safeties at linebacker. I'm used to seeing Bobby Carpenter and Andy Katzenmoyer and Chris Spielman and Randy Gradishar going back way back when, and the little animal, James Laurinaitis, and Pete Warner, the Tough Borland, Browning. I mean, they did a nice job on Clifford, keeping him from running the football at quarterback. And maybe that was their main job tonight. So if that was the goal, then they did their job. But still, that's an area. And this is bigger picture thing for me, right? I'm thinking, okay, how do they stack up when they play Clemson? How do they stack up when they play Alabama and the top teams? So they're getting by against these teams. Are you good with the linebackers, or are you a little concerned there as well?
Honestly, after tonight, I'm a little more concerned with the defensive secondary than I am with the linebackers. I mean, even Sean Wade struggled, and he's supposed to be like the first-round pick in April or whenever the next NFL draft is. But yeah, I agree with you. The linebackers, they're more of like a safety hybrid than like James Laurinaitis. I'm going to hit you straight in the mouth. Linebacker.
Let's see here. What do I have here as guys who stood out that I would consider giving game balls to? We talked about Togi. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say anyone on the defensive line. The defensive line dominated line scrimmage.
Yeah, absolutely. How about Cooper the one time? He just pushed that dude right into the quarterback.
The block O.
The block O. They couldn't block him, and he got the he didn't get the sack, but he gets a little tip of the cap from yours truly on that. We mentioned Togi Olave. I was going to give the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio, the walk-on place kicker, a game ball, but then he missed that chip shot.
He missed it.
So the heck with the Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off. Let's see here. Master Teague, he
had a quiet 100. It wasn't really dominant. It was like he ran for 100 yards, and that was that.
How about Jeremy Ruckert, 2 touchdown grabs, tight end?
And he had the big block. I think it was on the Garrett Wilson end around. It was on one big run. Jeremy Ruckert had a big block, too.
Right. Marcus Hooker had the pick there late in the game. That was good. And here's what I wrote down these notes. OSU's 2 second-half answers. When Penn State made it 21-13 with that first possession of the second half, the Buckeyes went right down the field and scored 28-13, right? Penn State made it 31-19 in the fourth quarter. Buckeyes went right down the field and scored 38-19. So those, to me, were the 2 biggest drives, other than the first drive to set the tempo and everything. So the offensive line, I'm giving one, tip of the cap game ball. I'm going to hoist a Royal Docks brew to the offensive line for the job they did, with the exception of Justin Fields almost getting decapitated on that last sack. Yeah, you're laughing. Yeah, you held your breath. Come on. You're laughing. You were holding your breath. Because remember last year what happened against Penn State? Late in the game, at home, no reason to throw the damn ball, and he gets hurt, and it cost them, in my opinion, the national championship. Horrible coaching last year by Ryan Day to throw them. And I'm thinking the same damn thing here tonight. And it's just like, run the ball, run out the clock, get the hell out of Happy Valley, and he almost gets decapitated.
I agree. But besides that, Ohio State's offensive line played really well, too. And if they dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball like that, I mean, you can. It's Ohio State, so you can beat anyone in the country as it is. But if you dominate the line of scrimmage like that on both sides of the ball, you have a really good chance of beating anyone in the country.
Absolutely. How about Michigan getting beat today? As I know you're an Ohio State grad, you got to
love it.
Michigan State going into Ann Arbor, into the big outhouse in Ann Arbor, and handing it to Harbaugh, man.
Some people are like, well, you want Michigan to be undefeated when they play Ohio State. Heck no. If they're winless, that's even better. I hope they lose every game.
Spoken like a true Ohio State grad.
Although, I hope they do just enough to keep Harbaugh around.
Oh, yeah. It's like, give him an extension, dude. Keep him
like
Ohio State with Newt Cooper. They kept him for 13 years. Hopefully Harbaugh sticks around, so he'll have an 13-0 record or something like that against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, they need to win out now and then barely lose to Ohio State. Then they'll have that little glimpse of maybe they're going to turn it around next season and keep them around.
Yeah, well, I didn't see the game live. I saw the highlights, so
it was bad. Well, it was good. As an Ohio State fan, it was good.
Right.
But as a Michigan fan, it was bad.
And were you rooting for Clemson to lose, or do you want them to be undefeated for when Ohio State might play them down the road if both teams get to the playoff?
I kind of wanted them to win because if they lost, everyone would have been like, well, they would have won if Trevor Lawrence played. So it's kind of one of those things where I wanted them to lose, but I knew that they had to win so that the college football committee couldn't use that as an excuse down the road.
Yeah, so we'll see. All right, who's up next? Rutgers, is it? Is that who they have next? Or
it seems like it's all JV teams from here on out, to be honest with you.
Let's see here.
Penn State was their toughest one.
Rutgers at home, then at Maryland, Indiana at home, at Illinois, at Michigan State. That one I'm circling. That's a trap game right before Michigan to close out the regular season. So the Buckeye. Hey, if Justin Fields stays healthy, they'll be one of the top 3 teams and go represent the Big Ten, I think, in the college football playoff. Right?
Yeah, if Justin Fields, Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson stay healthy, I mean, they're putting up 35, 45 points a game, even if they have no running back.
Right. Why no Steel Chambers tonight? Why not at least give them a series or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest. Maybe that was maybe he had a bad week of practice. Maybe they're just putting him in his place. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Come on, you got connections down there at Ohio State. Talk to your boys down in Columbus and find out why the hell he's not getting more opportunities.
It is weird, though, even late in the game, not to just keep it. Honestly, I wrote when still went up 14-0. I wrote the game off already.
See, it's at Happy Valley, man, and crazy stuff happens at Happy Valley. I always take that into consideration. Like if there would have been 112 drunk, costumed up, college students there tonight on Halloween night, that's 7 points, right? Let's give them 7 points. That makes it what, a 38-32. In my opinion.
Urban Meyer said it's 7 to 10 points.
Really?
I don't know.
I didn't hear that.
It's a lot. But
yeah.
I'd give it 7.
Yeah. All right, Joshy. Well, thanks for checking in. Go out, have some cocktails and everything, or whatever it is you do on a Saturday night for Halloween.
No, bars are closed already.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting that you can't get. What is it? 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock?
10 o'clock, last call. 11 o'clock,
they're closed. All right. Well, you can go watch the highlights again for the Buckeyes.
I'll watch Michigan highlights first.
Hey, any podcasts or anything coming up that you're sending out social media-wise?
Just hopefully talking about another Browns win tomorrow. We always do a Browns recap on WFNextRead.com, WFNY, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
But Browns are winning, Buckeyes are winning. I'm always down to talk.
Well, join me tomorrow then for the Browns postgame show after they beat the Raiders. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. See you, Josh.
See ya.
Hello, and checking in with us here on the Buckeyes postgame show, brewed by Royal Docks Brewing Company. Let's get some of these questions in here and comments from people that are checking in with us tonight. Hall of Fame icon says OSU national champs. Here, I'll show you what he said right there. OSU national champs. And yes, these are, thanks to Hall of Fame icon, the numbers of Justin Fields through 2 games tonight. How about that? He's missed on 7 passes. Now, he almost had 1 intercepted tonight, one very bad throw. But look at that. No interceptions, 6 touchdowns, almost 300 yards a game, 48 for 55. And they didn't have to run him as much. And you know what? And this, the running game, it scares me because I'm not sold on Master Teague or on Trey Sermon. I need to see something better than that. But I liked tonight that they didn't take the chance to run him that much. That they he carried it a few times. What was it tonight? 6 carries, -4 yards. He got clobbered on that sack, man. Oh, that had to hurt. He's going to feel that tomorrow. So they're saving him, and that's smart. Smart move by Ryan Day. Smart move. Don't run him unless you absolutely have to. And you keep him healthy, because that's the biggest thing. You got to keep him healthy. Without him, you have no chance of winning the national championship. All right, let's get some Twitter questions or comments in here tonight as we're asking who gets your game balls tonight. Dog Pound Pie hit me up on Twitter, says Justin Fields, no question. He's getting a game ball. iGuy 1979, what's up, Zach? He says the defensive line, everybody on the D line gets, you know what? Let's give some love to that D line by actually calling out their names on that D line. Jonathan Cooper, the block O. Tommy Togiai, number 72. Love him. Haskell Garrett, number 92, a beast. Let's see here. Zach Harrison, number 9. Who else? Some other guys had some big hits tonight too. What the heck? Hold on. Let me get his name. I wrote it down. Look at this. Got a little different notebook tonight. I'm going old school on this. Pulling out all these old notepads that I saved, that I hoarded. And, didn't think I'd ever use, but I'm using here for all the Buckeye stuff here. There it is. John Baptiste, number 8. John Baptiste is his last name. That's the play where Cooper shoved the lineman into the quarterback, and John Baptiste, number 8, got the sack on that play. 5 sacks tonight for the Buckeyes defensive line. Great job. They dominated the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. So had to give some love there to as many of those linemen as we can here. Let's see here. Adam Cerny, go Bucks. A win's a win, Roadman, and Justin Fields should win the Heisman Trophy this year. He's the front runner in my opinion, Adam. No question about it. Nathaniel Maiku says, good game so far for the Buckeyes. Yeah, take into consideration everything that's gone on this year, right? Pandemic season, no scrimmages, no non-conference games before you get into the Big Ten, and then boom, you got Nebraska at home, who's not a horrible team, but then you got to go on the road, second game, Halloween night at Penn State, and you come back 2-0. And it's interesting, I was talking with some high school football coaches, and congratulations, by the way, for us in Stark County, News Talk 1480 WHBC, as Maslin and Perry both won in Division II, and they're going to play next week in the regional final. Can't wait to do that game on Friday night at WHBC. But talking to some of the high school coaches, it's win in advance, man. And you've got to treat this like the playoffs. If you're Ohio State, if you're Ryan Day, each of these games is a playoff game. They are. Every game's a playoff game right now. And so you got to treat it that way, and you're 2-0 and you move on. And next up is Rutgers, and you can't take them lightly. Greg Schiano coming back, and you had a big win last week as they beat Michigan State. So now it's on to Rutgers. Celebrate a little bit tonight, but no going out, Buckeyes. Okay, none of this COVID crap. All these other schools are catching it. All these other players are getting the Rona. Stay in. You can celebrate Halloween next year. Your focus is winning a national championship this year. All right, some other game balls. JNS_photos. John S. says Justin Fields gets the game ball, Roadman. No question about that. Jared Paul, you can follow him at Ain't Madatya. I got to try and figure this out. I always like trying to figure out these names. Ain't Madatya. Did I get that right? I hope I did, Jared. He wants to give it to Justin Fields as well. Come on. Who else besides Justin Fields? Who else are we giving the game balls to besides Justin Fields? Because we know, dude's just balling big time. He's front runner for the Heisman Trophy. There's no doubt about that. But other guys deserve some love tonight, don't you think? Let's see what we got here we'll go to Facebook. Matt Andrews. Kenny, it's a joke. James Franklin is a fraud. The whiteout masks a lot of Penn State's lack of firepower. I asked the question. We had Joe Paterno's son, on the Kenny and JT show on Friday. And I asked Jay, and he's on the board of trustees at Penn State, at PSU. I said, is James Franklin on the hot seat? He said no. And won the bowl game last year. Won the Big Ten championship, 4 years ago. Beat Ohio State 4 years ago, but he hadn't beaten them recently. But Matt, he says James Franklin's not on the hot seat. Maybe, they put up a good effort tonight, 38-25, looks decent. I mean, if you're into moral victories, especially if Ohio State goes on to win a national championship. But I'm with you. I'm not a believer in James Franklin. I mean, if you're going to replace him, who are you going to hire? You got to find somebody better. And he's a decent coach, don't get me wrong. Good coach, not a great coach. So, Matt, thanks for the question here on Facebook. Craig Easterday checking in. What's up, Craig? The defensive backs didn't appear to want to hit the receivers, especially over the middle. Let's see here. What's he say? We hope that they eventually will. I agree with you. That's an area of concern for me is the secondary. I think other teams are going to exploit the secondary. I mean, Sean Wade, we're talking about game balls and tip of the cap, and we're raising our Royal Docs mug for players who played well here tonight. Sean Wade, Dotson made 2 great catches. Still, that's Sean Wade. You're not supposed to give up plays like that. You're a first-round pick. You came back, and you're the leader of that secondary, and you were toasted 3 times tonight at least. That can't happen. He can't, of all people, he can't give up plays like that. Okay, Seven Banks, Hooker, the young guys, fine. That's fine. But those guys, look to him, and if he's getting beat, they're thinking, oh, boy, that's our leader out there. What else we got here? Oh, Josh has hit me up. James Franklin and Jim Harbaugh are great coaches, Roadman. They need to stay at Penn State and Michigan forever. From that standpoint, from a Buckeyes fan standpoint, Josh, I get your drift. I do. I understand where you're coming from. What else do we have here? William Wickham is watching us tonight here on the Buckeyes Postgame Show, brewed by Royal Docs Brewing Company. Thank you, William. Appreciate that. And for everybody out there, if you're out in our neck of the woods in Canton and you're looking for a place to get, some ice cold brews and some good eats, then you need to check out Royal Docs Brewing Company, 7162 Fulton Drive Northwest in Canton and 5646 Wales Avenue Northwest in Massillon. You can check them out online, too, at www.docs.beer. John Bicus is the owner, Ohio State guy. They have Ohio State watch parties there, too, so if you're looking for a place to watch the game when they're afternoon games and that, next week, I think, is a 7:30 start as well against Rutgers, which makes no sense to me. But it's on the Big Ten Network, so they want to get Ohio State on in prime time. I guess that makes sense from an advertising standpoint. But thanks to Royal Docs Brewing Company for being our sponsor and making things go here on the Buckeye Postgame Show. What else do we have here? Craig Easterday saying Jeremy Ruckert and Chris Olave both deserve game balls. They've got great hands. Yeah, they do. Olave's first touchdown catch was sweet. That was a hell of a grab. It really was. Now, Dotson had the one-handed catch and everything. He stuck the paw out. OBJ probably smiled on that. Yeah, Olave and Wilson, that's just an unbelievable tandem to throw to. Think if you're Justin Fields, if you put it anywhere close, 9 times out of 10, those guys are going to come down with it. All right, we gave you, I'm going to put the individual stats back up here for the Buckeyes. So you can take a look at that on the crawl down at the bottom of the screen right down here, okay? You can see how the individual guys did. Here's the way it's shaped up team-wise in tonight's game for the Buckeyes. They win at 38-25. Buckeyes with 526 total yards. Penn State, 325 total yards. All right? Buckeyes ran it for 208. Penn State only 44 yards rushing. Impressive by the Buckeyes to hold Penn State. Running quarterback, he had over 100 yards last week against Indiana running the football to just 44 yards. Buckeyes threw it for 318. Penn State threw it for 281. Penn State only had 75 yards of offense, I think, at halftime. So they made some adjustments. And so that's something that Ryan Day and Kerry Combs need to go back and look at. Okay, what did they do differently in the second half to throw and run for over 200 yards against you in the second half and put up 22 points. Well, no, actually, what they put it, 19 points. They had 6 at halftime. Let's see, third downs. The Buckeyes were 10 of 18 on third down. Penn State, 3 of 9. Time of possession, Ohio State 37-01, Penn State 22-59. So you like to see that. Long drives, keep your defense off the field, let them rest up. And if they are your weakness, you don't want them out on the field. 5 sacks for the Buckeyes tonight unofficially, 2 for Penn State. Missed field goals, Ohio State 2, and they were chippies. They were in close field goals. The Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid, missed one. He's got to work on his kicks. Get it? Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid, kicks. Wax on, wax off. He missed one. Hobbill missed one. Might be hurt. We'll have to see. I don't know if that played into his miss early on or what went on there. I'll have to check Twitter here coming up in a little bit. But special team. What the hell on that punt? Hey, what the hell? The Harry Carroll, he'd be screaming at the top of his lungs. Drew Chrisman puts a perfect punt inside the 10-yard line. 2 guys are there to down it, and they let it roll in the damn end zone. Special teams, man. Got to get better on special teams. Against the better teams, you can't let those things happen. Penn State, 5 penalties, 31 yards. Ohio State, 9 penalties, 80 yards. All right, so if we're nitpicking about the Buckeyes tonight, 2 missed field goals, didn't down the punt inside the 5-yard line, 9 penalties, 80 yards. 9 penalties, 80 yards. Cost you. You had a first and goal from the 1. Oh, I forgot about that. It wasn't a penalty. It was a bad snap. What the hell was up with that? Over Justin Fields' head. Should have had more. Again, Josh Paloha was on with us earlier. You gotta, this should have been, final score of this game should have been 55-25. They should have won by 30 points. They won by 13, and I know, don't get too upset. It's a victory. They're 2-0, and you move on to the next. But still, it's frustrating. Should have blowed these guys out. What do we got here? Mark Chalmers is checking in with us once again. Mark, always good to know that you're watching with us. We appreciate that. Michael Kirkwood is checking us out tonight. You can send us your questions, your comments via Twitter or Facebook. Here we go with some more. I want to get this right. Murasan Ball. I hope I pronounced that right. I bet if Joe and Jerry were still coaching, oh, come on now. Be nice. See, I brought up Jay Paterno, and you got to go there. Come on. Momo2120. Justin Fields is the best quarterback in America. He's making his case for it, isn't he? I mean, he is. Right? I mean, Trevor Lawrence does have a national championship under his belt, so that's something Justin doesn't have. Neither have a Heisman. They're the 2 top candidates this year. And head-to-head, Trevor Lawrence beat Justin Fields last year. His last pass last year, an interception in the end zone. But that's the driving force, I think, behind Justin Fields this year to prove that maybe he is the best quarterback in the country. So we'll see. Could go 1-2 in the draft. Trevor Lawrence's size, 6'6". He's got good speed. He's got the Goldilocks hair too, man. Looks good with the hair. He can do the hair commercial for Head and Shoulders and stuff. It's waiting. That's an advertisement waiting to happen. 1-2, 2-1. Can't go wrong either way. And they were the top 2 quarterbacks coming out in their high school class too. How about that? And here they are. How great would it be to see Ohio State and Clemson? I know, putting the cart before the horse, but to see Ohio State in a rematch with Clemson, but this time for the national championship, and Lawrence and Justin Fields going head-to-head. Woo! That would be pretty sweet. We got some more questions coming in here. Roadman, do you think the running game can get better as the season progresses? I hope. I mean, Justin Fields could improve the running game, but you don't want him running until we get to the Big Ten championship game and you need him to run, or the Final Four, the national championship game, because you can't afford to lose him. So you need this running game to get better. They've got to find a way to develop this running game somehow, some way, with a running back that, puts some fear in the opposition. Master Teague is a power back. Now, I know he's coming off the Achilles tear, right? And he may not be back to 100%, but it's Ohio State. They should have a better running back than Master Teague or Trey Sermon. And that's why I wanted to see Steel Chambers. At least he's got some spin. I don't know why he didn't play tonight. I'll have to read, you go to bucknuts.com, 11 Warriors, Letterman Row. They all do a great job covering the Buckeyes in the blogs, Twitter, and all of that. So I'm going to have to read and find out why. Dwayne Risco. What's up, Dwayne? I'm going to put his comment up here. Mr. Pingaling checking in with us here. Trey Sermon looks slow out of the backfield. Absolutely, Dwayne. Couldn't agree with you more. It's like, man, get started, dude. Let's go. Get the ball and hit the hole. And it takes him forever, to get going. Same with Master Teague. I know he had a 31-yard run, but J.K. Dobbins takes that to the house. And they don't have that guy. And I know it's hard to replace a guy that ran for 2,000 yards last year and is playing for the Baltimore Ravens. But as good as they are at recruiting, you have nobody better than Master Teague? It's frustrating. And Steel Chambers had the best yards per carry, I think, last week and didn't get one carry tonight. That still bothers me. I know I'm nitpicking again. That's me. I'm a nitpicker. But, again, I'm looking at the bigger picture. The win's great. You're 2-0 tonight. Keeps you in the race for the Big Ten championship and the national championship. But you also, just like they practice, they have that, the part of practice, team up, the TTUN portion of practice. They do. Every day they have a TTUN portion of practice, that team up north session. And they get ready for Michigan. Well, I'm getting ready for Michigan in the Big Ten championship game and the semifinals and the finals. And I'm thinking to myself, who the heck's going to be the feature back on this team? Who's the home run hitter on this team running the football? And it's probably Justin Fields, but you don't want him running it that much. Let's see here. Mirasan Ball, Ohio State will destroy Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. I don't know if they'll destroy them, but they'll beat them. If it's Wisconsin. I mean, we don't know. Their game was canceled this week. So is that going to affect the standings in the West? Who ends up being in the West, coming out of the West in the Big Ten championship game? Dwayne Risco again. Kenny, where are our slants? Good question, Dwayne. They ran a couple of them, but that was it. They didn't run a lot of them tonight. So I don't know. I don't know where that was tonight. Some interesting play calls at times. I don't know if they were trying to establish the running game, wear Penn State down. They did a great job, protecting Fields up until that last sack where he almost got decapitated. Hey, Terry Lohr's checking in with us. What's up, Terry? How you doing? Thanks for checking us out here on the Buckeyes Postgame Show, brewed by Royal Docks Brewing Company. Michael Kirkwood says, you are correct on all levels. I tell it like I see it. Sometimes people agree, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the truth hurts. It is what it is. Mark Chalmers hitting us up saying Ohio State just clearly has better talent than every Big Ten team. The kicker hurt his groin in warm-ups, according to Coach Day in the post-game press conference. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. So Blake Hobbiel, who missed that field goal early in the game and didn't kick the rest of the way, hurt his groin. How do you hurt your groin in pregame warm-ups? What the heck? Hey, they pulled his groin in pregame warm-ups. What the hell's going on there? I mean, come on, man. You can't hurt your groin in pregame warm-ups. You're a kicker. Do some yoga. Stretch it out. But thanks for that, Mark, for updating us on why Blake Hobbiel wasn't in there. One other thing I want to throw out at you. Hold on. I made a note of it. Okay, secondary is young and inexperienced. That's a concern for me. Running game is average at best. That's a concern for me. Why no Steel Chambers? Linebackers were better. I want to give a little love to the linebackers, but I still think that's against the better teams. That's something to keep an eye on. I know other teams are going to keep an eye on it and try and exploit it. And special teams were not good tonight. Oh, yeah, and got to give some love here because even though the defense isn't the strength of this team, and let's be honest, name me a team in the country, college football, where the defense is the best part of their team. There aren't many, if you can find any at all. You got to outscore people. And you got to be able to, put points on the board. So 17 last week, 25 this week. That's not bad, right? Defensively for a bunch of new guys. And no real threat on that outside as far as a defensive end, like a Chase Young or a Bosa or anybody like that. The threat for them is up the middle, right, with Togiai and with Haskell Garrett on the inside. But, a little tip of the cap to Kerry Combs. Here's why. They wanted to stop the quarterback from running tonight for Penn State. And I want to look at the first drive for Penn State tonight. I wrote it down here. Let's see. Penn State, where is it? First drive. They opened up with a pass to Freiermuth for 9 yards. Clifford, 5-yard run. Incomplete pass on third down, incomplete pass on fourth down. Cooper and Werner with great pressure. I wanted to go back because that was a huge play in this game. 3rd and 2 from the 45. Incomplete pass. They tried to throw a deep ball. Seven Banks with good coverage on Dotson. And then it was 4th and 2. James Franklin rolls the dice. He goes for it. 4th and 2 at the 45. Incomplete pass. Great pressure from Cooper and Werner. So they brought a blitz. So a little love to Kerry Combs. Tip of the cap there to him for bringing some pressure there. And the Buckeyes then took that short field. And Chris Olave, a 26-yard touchdown pass. 14-0 Ohio State with 8:39 left. And that was important from the standpoint of playing ahead and not from behind in this game on the road at Happy Valley, even with no fans there hardly at all. So the defense isn't great. 17 and 25, not bad, but they've got to get better. And it's going to be tough to really gauge how good they are defensively with the games coming up, Rutgers and Maryland. Now, you can't take them lightly. It'll bite you in the ass. But Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana are the next 3. Illinois, those are the next 4 games for Ohio State. So they should be 6-0 going into Michigan State on December 5th. And that's a game that I have highlighted, and it concerns me. And Mel Tucker, congratulations, got his first win as the head coach at Michigan State. He beat Michigan in Ann Arbor for his first win. How's that for your first win? Tip of the cap to you there, Mel. Great job. But that's a game the Buckeyes, the next real test for me. And I don't want to, look past Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana, and Illinois. But that, to me, is the next test. You're on the road at Michigan State. And how many times have they ruined a Buckeyes season? Where you take them lightly and you turn it over 4 times, 3 times, and they beat you. And then you're screwed. So that's the game that I've got highlighted. No question about it. And then Michigan's the final regular season game on December 12th. Big Ten championship game on December 19th. Let's see, what else do we have here? Some more questions coming in. Big Jugs fan. All right. As a Buckeye fan, I love Jim Harbaugh. We ain't ever going to lose to them while he's there. God, he's so overrated. He is. Extremely overrated. Why they continue to stay with him and believe in him that he's going to get that thing turned around, I have no idea. But let's hope, like you said, they stay with him for a long, long time. Wisconsin defense is the best part of their team, but yes, hard to name others from Murasun Ball. All right. And the Buckeyes wouldn't play Wisconsin until the Big Ten championship game. What else do we have here? Some more questions coming in. Roadman, are you okay with not running the quarterback more in fields? Yes, I'm fine with that. Don't want to run him. No, thank you. I would prefer not to run Justin Fields unless it's positively necessary. Quarterback keeper, 4th, and I loved what they're doing. Again, Ryan Day, love it. They need a yard. It's 4th and 1. And with Urban Meyer, God bless Urban Meyer, 3 national championships as a coach. He's forgot more football than I know, right? Won a national championship with the Buckeyes. But why the hell, when it's 4th and 1, do you put your quarterback in the shotgun 6 yards back? That means now you got to go 7 yards forward to get the 1 yard you need. Makes no damn sense. So Ryan Day, learning from maybe what Urban Meyer didn't do, gets Justin Fields up under center. He gains 2, 3, 4. I think he had 5 yards on the one QB sneak tonight and last week. So that's I like seeing that out of Ryan Day as the play caller there. Game balls, Roadman. This is from Ball 221. Game balls, not the kickers. You are correct, sir. Now, Hobbill, we found out, pulled his groin in pregame warm-ups, however the hell you do that. You got to stretch, man. Get one of those rubber bands and stretch it out. Get one of the trainers to stretch you out, a personal trainer or something. Brandon Kirby checking in with us on Twitter says Garrett Wilson gets a game ball. Yeah, how about that? Total offensive yards today. Let's see, 111 receiving, 62 rushing for Wilson. So what's the quick math on that? 173. So 12 touches for Garrett Wilson today, 173 yards. He didn't score. Olave had the 2 touchdown grabs, but almost 200 yards of total offense for Garrett Wilson. And Chris Olave gets a game ball too, 7 catches, $120 and 2 great catches. The one was, how about the throw on the second touchdown pass to Olave? I think it was 49 yards. It was like 3 guys around him. And he dropped that, he threw a rainbow, and there was a pot of gold at the end of it, and Olave grabbed it for 6. Fantastic throw there by Justin Fields. Jim Barbosa. Ooh, Pirates of the Caribbean. We haven't heard from you in a while. Barbosa. Jimmy, good to hear from you, man. Defensive line, he says, gets a game ball, Roadman. And I agree with you. Any others here that we haven't already mentioned as far as game balls there? No, let's check Facebook. That was Twitter. And keep the tweets and the comments coming via Facebook and Twitter and all that. Michael Kuhaney checking in. Good to see Michael. Let's see here. Nope, I think that's about it. Let me check my other comments coming in here. Oh, Dwayne Risco's hitting us up again. Let's put this one up on the screen. Every game is a playoff game. The eye test counts for rankings. Ohio State needs big score for playoff voters. Great point, Dwayne. Mr. Pingeling, that's a great point. Hey, Dwayne, send me your email. I'll send you an invite to come in studio with me right now. Send me your email via text message on my cell phone, and I'll bring you in here. You can give me your thoughts on this. But you bring up a great point. Great point, Dwayne, that if you're Ohio State, you would love to be the number 1 seed when this is all said and done. So Alabama and Clemson have played more games. And I think it was either Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, right? But when it's said and done in the final playoff rankings, you would love to be the 1 seed because then you play the 4 seed. And then you might avoid playing Clemson or Alabama until the national championship. So ideally, what you want to have happen is you want to end up number 1, Bama 2, Clemson 3, and then whoever, number 4, right? And then you get that number 4 team and avoid, like, hey, Buckeyes, when they won the national championship, they beat Alabama, right, in that first game and then beat Oregon. So they were able to do that. So I'm not saying it's, they can't do that because I think they could beat Alabama or Clemson. But if you can avoid them, as you don't want to end up having to play both of them and go through Alabama and Clemson to win the title. If you can avoid one of them, that's why you want to be number 1. You get to play 4, and that would be maybe, I don't know, Notre Dame or maybe somebody from the Pac-12. Maybe it's Oregon, who you were supposed to play this year, but the pandemic season shortened it. So get to number 1. Big Jugs fan, Roadman. Can Buckeyes get any games canceled this year and still make the playoffs? Great question. And let me put that one up there now as our next question from Big Jugs fan. It's got the Chief Wahoo logo up there. I don't know what the official ruling is. I've got to study that up more, Big Jugs fan. All right? I've got to study that to figure out how many games, if any, they could, because there's no makeup dates, right? This is 8 straight weeks in the Big Ten. 9th week is the Big Ten championship game, and then you're getting ready for the playoff if you get there. So unless we get, and let's hope this doesn't happen, unless we get an overabundance of games canceled because of COVID, and that would be horrible. If that happens, maybe they extend the season and push some things back. I mean, everything's fluid right now. We don't know what's going to happen. Everything's on the rise. So please be safe out there. Wear your damn mask. Wash your hands. Social distance. It's not that freaking hard. But as of right now, Big Jugs fan, I don't know. Not sure. I'll have to look into that. Give me till next week. I'll look into that. I don't want to give you false information. I'm not going to just, pretend like I know what's happening and lie to you. That's not me. So we'll have that information for you hopefully next week. All right. Checking some other tweets here and text messages coming in from people. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, we did that. Game balls, Justin Fields. Offensive line, defensive line. That, I guess, other than Justin Fields, Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson through the first two games, most impressive thing about Ohio State is the trenches. Offensive line and the defensive line. I'm looking at other things other than the obvious, right? That's what stands out to me so far. The D-line, rotating guys in and out, keeping them fresh so their motor's still running in the fourth quarter. And then that O-line, man, I'd love to run behind that O-line. How they're not doing a better job of running the football behind that O-line, I don't know, man. But they're doing a hell of a job. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up a couple of my buddies on Twitter here before we sign off tonight. And don't forget, turn your clock back tonight. 2 o'clock becomes 1 o'clock. Fall back, spring ahead. Don't forget to do that. Little public service announcement from the Roadman here for you. Let's see here. Steve Elwagon from bucknuts.com. Let's see if we got any tweets from him about... No, let me try somebody else here. Steve's writing his game story right now. Let's try Bill Rabinowitz. Does a great job for the Columbus Dispatch. Let's see here. Nope, looks like Bill's still writing his game story as well. So I'm going to go check out. I taped it. Check out the post-game comments from Ryan Day, his thoughts on this, what he liked, what he didn't like. But what you have to like the most is you're 2-0. And as Urban Meyer would always say, after you're 2-0, guess what? That gives you a chance to do. Gives you a chance to go 3-0 next week against Rutgers. So next week, 7:30 kickoff. So that means another late night post-game show. And we'll do this after each and every Buckeyes game. And it's brought to you and brewed by Royal Docks Brewing Company. We appreciate that. And don't forget tomorrow, Browns playing host to the Raiders. 1 o'clock kickoff. We're going to do the Browns post-game show tomorrow right here on Facebook and Twitter as well. So spread the word. Come join us. Send your comments in. Send your questions in. Dwayne just sent one more in. Mr. Pingaling says, tough Borland. Played his butt off. Had a pretty decent game tonight, Dwayne. I'm still not sold on him, like I said, against the better teams, the bigger teams, the more talented teams, the faster teams, the Clemsons, the Alabamas of the world, the Auburns. But in this game against a Penn State team, he did a nice job on Clifford, the quarterback, keeping him from breaking any long runs, had some nice hits. And they did a nice job on Freiermuth, or however you pronounce his name. So you can give him a game ball if you want to. That's fine. But tomorrow, Browns, 1 o'clock kickoff, the Raiders. And I think the Browns are going to win. 35-34. How about that? High scoring game. Bet the over tomorrow. Unless the weather's a fact. Hold on. Let's see. We can do that right now. Let's check what the weather's going to be for tomorrow. Late night weather for. I gave you my public service announcement earlier about COVID and washing your damn hands and all of that. Here's my weather forecast for you for tomorrow at kickoff. Let's go hourly. 1 o'clock kickoff at Cleveland Browns Stadium. 42 degrees. 49% chance of rain, but how about this? 28-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow. Coming off of Lake Erie, add a few miles an hour to that. Now, the rain was supposed to be at 90% a few days ago, but so that could factor into it. By the end of the game, 39 degrees, 53% chance of rain, 30-mile-an-hour winds. So maybe they don't, maybe, you know what? While I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, I'm not sure exactly what the over is. I had it 35-34, not taking the weather into account. Maybe you don't bet the over tomorrow because the weather could affect it. But yeah, come on, join us tomorrow after the Browns game. We'll do this again. Thanks to everybody who checked in with us tonight with your questions, your comments via Twitter, via Facebook. We'll do it again next Saturday night, and like I said, tomorrow after the Browns game. All right, everybody, don't forget, fall back, turn your clocks back 1 hour. It gives you an extra hour to drink and do whatever you want to do tonight celebrating Halloween. And be safe out there, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. See you, bye.